Hi, welcome to Free Your Finance. My name's Gary. I talk about all things investing, buy-to-let property, financial independence, and now entrepreneurship too. Today, I'm interviewing my good friend Greg. He is the owner of Georgios, a central heating, electrical, and air conditioning company based in Eastwood in Essex. We're going to talk about the day-to-day challenges of running a business, hiring staff, and hopefully you're going to learn a lot from the video. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, so thank you, Greg, for popping in today, mate.
You're welcome, no problem.
But I suppose, do you mind giving me a little bit of background about Georgios and how it started, sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. So, I started as an apprentice.
Yeah.
That is where I started on site with a building firm. And it's very much of the right place, right time. The plumber that come on site, I was badging him with questions and I was amazed by his pipes and how he knew what was what. And he just turned around and said, look, I'm actually looking for someone. So if your boss would let you, do you want to come and work for me? And I looked at my boss and he was like, yeah, go on, do it. So it just was the exact right place at the right time.
Yeah.
He was a local guy. He was on his own. He was at that point where he had more work than he could handle. And I just started about 2 weeks later.
Do you feel like, from an outsider's point of view, it feels like sort of the trades in general, it can get like that quite quickly. You can sort of start work and before you know it, you can be, if you're doing a good job, you can be inundated with work. Is that the case, or is that not true?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I was always led to believe you're only as good as your last job.
Sure.
So you've got to provide the service, but getting into it is extremely hard. We have apprentices coming through to us weekly,
Yeah.
phoning emails, and bless them, they can't find anywhere. Now, apprentices are good, you need them, but they are a cost to a business.
Of
And
course.
it's straight away from day one when they know almost zero, they're a cost. So they're not everyone's in a position to take them on.
Yeah.
So it's extremely hard.
How long do you feel like it is that apprentice period before they start becoming profitable for the company, that sort of training period?
There's two ways to look at it, because you could be really good at your job and you could be the best bricklayer, chippy, plasterer, whatever, but are you a good teacher?
Yeah.
Because ultimately you bring an apprentice on to save you time and money, but actually it costs you time and money because you've got to show them the ropes. So if I was fitting a boiler, for example, but I need to stop and show them how it's done, it's going to take me longer.
Sure.
I would say, depending on the individual, we've had a few, some are good. Really, you're looking at 3 to 6 months, in my opinion, until they're going to start giving you anything back.
Yeah, I was thinking about 6 months when you first said it. So I suppose you worked for this plumber. How long were you with him for?
I was with him for probably shy of 4 years. Went through college, done a 2-year college up in Colchester, and then I'd done all my gas training and done that, so further training. So we worked great, and I absolutely loved it to start with, but I mean, no names mentioned. He was a phenomenal engineer. He was one of the best I've ever known. He was OCD, everything had to be on point.
Yeah. Great teacher then in that respect of picking things up. I mean,
Yeah,
like
for someone
getting
to
good habits.
watch as like an inspiration, that's absolutely. But where I struggled was the money.
Yeah.
I didn't feel valued at the end, towards the end of it, and I kept saying to him, look, I feel like I can do more now. And in the end, it just got to a point where for what I was getting paid at the time, the way I was getting spoken to, in the moment on the job, I thought, I don't need this.
No.
And it went from loving it to hating it.
Yeah.
And I was only, when I left and went on my own, I was only 21.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So that was my next question, really. So you've already touched on a lot of it, but it was the decision behind making Georgios. Was that the first company that you set up by yourself, Georgios?
Yeah. And I mean, like I say, I was 21, but I had no mortgage. I had no kids.
Yeah.
I had no responsibilities other than a gym membership at probably 20 quid a month. So I had all the flexibility and the time in the world. And that was it. I just went around all my friends and family. Do you need any plumbing doing, any this doing? And it just sort of went from, I already had the van, I already had all my tools. I was always quite obsessed of having all the gear to do and make a job easy for you.
Yeah.
And it just went from one thing to the next. But like I said, I had no responsibility, I had no financial commitments to meet, which allowed me to do it at probably quite a young age, really.
Yeah. Was it central heating that you
Central heating and boilers.
you concentrated on?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Just out of curiosity, why is it that you sort of don't avoid plumbing, but it's not your?
It's so really from my old boss.
Yeah.
He said, by the time you do bathrooms, you could do 2 or 3 boilers and there's more money in it. And I was just sort of went down that same road, really.
Yeah.
Bathrooms are nice. You can stand back and look, that looks absolutely beautiful.
Sure.
But I was always led to believe, and I do believe truthfully, that the money's in the boilers.
Yeah,
Truthfully.
yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So I suppose in those first early days, obviously you tapped up your contacts list.
Yeah.
How did it then start growing? Was it just naturally through word of mouth, or?
All word of mouth.
Yeah.
I very quickly sort of understood and put myself in a few rooms of people that had their business, and I was just listening, thinking, right, they do that, so I'll try that. But
Yeah.
back then, it was Yellow Pages.
Yeah. I remember those days. Yeah.
And back of the local papers,
Yeah.
leaflets. But like I said, I only had myself and my van to pay for, so I
Yeah.
didn't need loads. And I went from an apprentice wage,
Yeah.
what I was getting a week, I could earn that in a day. So
Crazy.
it just flipped. And it's still very little money back then, but at the time, I was loving life.
Yeah, of course. As a 21-year-old, you feel like you've hit the lottery, don't you?
Yeah.
It's funny, like you talking about your story. It's so many similarities to how I started in photography as well.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, crazy. But I suppose in those first few years, what would you say was the sort of scariest, or did you have any scary moments when you first started? Or was it just you were so sort of young and naive that it was just fun?
Nothing fazed me.
Yeah?
Nothing at all fazed me. There wasn't. I mean, you fall victim to all the classic things that you look back on and go, "Oh, I wouldn't do that again now."
Yeah.
You know, saying yes to everything for a start. Someone saying, "Oh, can you come and do X, Y, Z? We'll come repair my toilet."
Yeah.
I would look at it and go, "Well, I could go and earn 50 quid there."
I'm
Yeah, of
still
course I
guilty of
will.
that. I'm still very
Yeah,
guilty of
I can do that. So nothing really fazed me in that sense, other than as things progressed a bit later down the line, where I was like, okay, I need a bit of help.
that. Yeah.
And there isn't a rule book, as far as I'm aware, or there isn't really there is today. There's things like this where you've got so much advice out there, but back then, you just listen to your parents or your whoever's sort of
Yeah.
taking the lead on you.
Yeah. And it's funny, like I connect with what you're saying about you've picked up a lot of your habits from the plumber you worked with, because I worked in the studio early on, and a lot of their sales process was sort of stack them high, sell them cheap, and
Yeah.
that's a mindset I still struggle with now, you know. So yeah, I really connect with what you're saying actually in a lot of ways.
It's hard though, right? Because like you say, unless you follow a process from your previous employer or company, you don't really know what you're doing is the right thing or the wrong thing. You just sort of wing it.
Yeah, of course you do.
And over the years, there's been tons of winging.
Yeah.
Loads.
Yeah. So how long were you on your own as Georgios?
I was solely on my own for probably about 3 years, something like that. But then I would meet people, other engineers, or say
Yeah.
like, look, I've got a big job on. Can I nick you for a day or
Yeah.
two? Bring him in, pay.
Subcontracting,
Yeah, pretty
yeah,
much. And it
yeah.
was just I was on like I need you. Then, but the same people do the same back to me.
Yeah.
So then I'd go and jump on one of their jobs for a couple of days and help
Yeah.
them out. So
Yeah.
very quickly you understand who you can kind of work with, and it just works well.
Yeah. And so we're naturally flowing through my questions. The next obvious point is hiring staff, right? What point did you get to
Christ.
when you thought, right, I need a staff member now? What was the sort of deciding factor?
So I remember the exact moment that I was like, right, I need some help on the back end.
Yeah.
So I already had friends and other engineers that I could bring in, so that was kind of covered. But I remember specifically, I was working under it, so the phone would ring all the time, and obviously as a tradesman, if you don't answer, you chance when you're losing the inquiry, or you know they'll move on. So I remember phone ringing, and the phone's like that, and I'm trying to fix the boiler, and I'm saying, yeah, I can do, yeah, that's not a problem. Put the phone down. I'm thinking, oh Christ, what did they just say? Right, and everything was paper, so I'd refer to all my notes, and in the end, I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I'm now not as efficient as I was on the job, and I'm now becoming less professional is maybe the word to the people that's wanting it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, I need some help.
Yeah.
So at the time then, one of my aunties, I said to her, like, do you want to come in for a couple of hours one day a week and just help me with a bit of admin? So it'd be all the quoting. So I'd scribble everything down exactly. I'd work all the numbers out, how much it's going to cost me.
Yeah.
And I'd say, right, can you type that up and send it to Mr. and Mrs. whoever?
Yeah.
That was the bare bones of outside. And then that day went from half a day to a full day, then 2 days and 3 days. And what I quickly realised is I'm better off paying someone to do those tasks, and I can go out and do the other tasks,
Sure.
which pay for that to be done. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
But scary because it's like another commitment.
Of course, yeah. And suddenly you're responsible for paying someone else's or part of someone else's bills and mortgage or whatever, you know. So
It was very cheap. I mean, I had a spare room in my house at the time. It wasn't even decorated. Tiny desk, laptop, pad, pens, paper, and that was it. And it was the most basic as you get, but it absolutely works.
Yeah.
Before we moved on to software and having systems and stuff in place.
Yeah. So then after that, staying on the topic of staff, I suspect it made you more profitable, right? Having your auntie sort of helping with
Definitely.
quoting and stuff like that, which allowed you to hire then quicker, would you say, your next staff member?
Yeah, so my first sort of full-time employer was an apprentice.
Really?
Yeah, well, it was, and it was
Right.
actually a relative of mine, a young cousin. And he came on board, and us, months in, it takes them to train him. And when they're especially young,
Yeah.
and all they're interested is going out and
Sure.
doing whatever.
Yeah.
So, and it worked, and then it went from there and kind of kept going up and up. And
Yeah.
like I say, still using the subcontractors. So,
Yeah.
so now I'm now a man and a lad, if you like, plus my friend or my other subby. So now we've got a team of 3.
Yeah.
So we could get jobs done slightly quicker.
Sure.
The admin's being taken care of. And it just worked quite well.
And that crossover when you started hiring people sort of in a more full-time position, did it take a negative on you than what you could take from the business, or were you quite lucky in the way it sort of grew quite naturally? Well, what I'm trying to explain is, like, did it affect your salary and stuff of what you could take for the business?
Yeah, definitely. There'd be
so it's
times-
quite a risk on your part then, really,
definitely.
wasn't it?
I mean, being in the trade specific, you don't get paid monthly like everyone
Yeah,
else. I mean,
yeah.
some do if you're on sort of involved in a bit, but if you're a tradesman, normally you are paid job for job, week
Sure.
for week. So if I'm going to pay someone every week, but my money might not come in every week, so I might be carrying the float, and it just made me understand that I've got to have money put aside to carry the float over.
Yeah.
And you think, well, if you could click your fingers and get all your money in, and then all the money you owe out, you're good.
Yeah.
It never works that way.
Yeah.
You always owe X in, you always owe X out. So you're constantly running this float of money,
Yeah.
which doesn't really exist because by the time it's actually landed, it's already been spent.
Yeah, of course.
So it's hard.
stressful. Yeah, it sounds stressful.
Maybe I've made it sounding worse than it is. If you're on the ball, it's fine.
Yeah. And I suppose, as you said earlier, systems in place now that make it a lot easier, right?
If it wasn't for the systems we've got and then the people we've got in certain roles, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
Again, fine if you're a man in a van and you just deal with your own diary, your own jobs, and it's only you to worry about, fine. But no, as things sort of progress on, there's not a chance in hell you could do it.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you work with a couple of your family members now as well. And you've already mentioned your young cousin, you've mentioned your auntie. How was working with family?
So I've been brought up with my family owning their own businesses, which is
Yeah.
completely different. They do fish and chips. So
Okay.
they've had fish and chip shops. So between my dad, my granddad, my uncle, my mum, me, brothers, sisters, we've all worked together at some point. And I'm fully aware that when it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
You won't get anyone else who will try and work as hard as them.
Yeah.
But when there's an atmosphere or maybe an issue outside of work but family related, it can have a little bit of a negative impact. So I'm fully aware of how it works. On the whole, I wouldn't have it any other way. But maybe truthfully, if I needed to say something or pull something up or flag something, if it was an employee unrelated, it could probably be a bit more direct.
Yeah.
I think with family, you have to go around the house a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
Just to protect the...
Yeah, of course.
Because you don't want to, right?
Yeah.
But the family I've got now, I've got my mother-in-law, I've got my cousin's wife, my wife. We've never had an argument.
Yeah.
Never once.
Yeah.
There's heated moments, or there's like, oh, for God's sake, but it never carries on.
Yeah.
I'm fairly... I don't know if easygoing is the right word, but I'm fairly understandable and approachable.
Yeah.
And it's if something was to go wrong, I'm not going to bite their head off. Just figure out what happened, and let's not do that again.
Yeah. I've seen the sort of inside workings of your business because you've kindly hired me to do some work for you, and it always seems so efficient and smoothly run, but it seems like an element of calm every time I walk in there. But maybe that's not what it's like all the time. I'm sure that's not what it's like all the time, but it always feels really like efficient and really, they all seem really on the ball in the shop.
I think everyone knows their job.
Yeah.
Everyone knows their role, should I say. There's some cross. I mean, we're small, right? So we've only got two full-time.
You say small, I would argue. But
No, we are in comparison to others, but
sure.
everyone's kind of got their roles. There is some crossover.
Yeah.
If one's on holiday, the other person's got to jump on their bit.
Yeah.
Or I'll fill in or whatever happens. But it works.
Yeah.
And I think it only works because we've kind of got it knuckled down and we know what works, so we just don't change it.
Yeah.
We're always looking for improvements, of course, but there's no need to change don't fix what's not broken.
And those roles, did they naturally develop, or were they something you sort of specifically worked out and thought, I want someone doing that, I want someone doing that?
It kind of happened naturally.
Yeah.
Because we don't just do boilers and heating now, we do electrics.
Yeah.
Therefore, someone had to own the electric side of it. So it just naturally divided that way. So we've got Kelly that deals with all the boilers, Karis that deals with all the electrics, I deal with all the aircon. And again, it works. We
Yeah.
all know a bit about everything,
Yeah.
because I'd say there is some crossover.
Yeah.
Or there's also some jobs that we do that we're doing electrics and aircon for,
Sure.
or boilers and it. So, and that happens more
Yeah.
so, well, more and more as time goes on.
Yeah.
It's happening loads.
It's a fantastic business model, right? To have intertwining businesses that you can almost cross-refer yourself to. I think that's a super powerful way of making a business.
Yeah, so I chose the decision to bring an electrician on in-house because I was using an electrician for all of our boiler and heating
Yeah.
wiring. I would only need that guy for an hour,
Yeah.
but I'd need him almost at a specific time of the day. So trying to capture him every time I need him for that hour. And as one day I just looked back and I thought, how much am I paying this guy? Lovely guy, brilliant work. He couldn't fault anything. I just sort of looked it up and thought, I'm paying a salary and I'm getting 1 hour a day
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I'm like, if things keep going the way they are, I could pay the same and get 8 hours.
Yeah.
That was the logic behind it. There's obviously more to it than that.
Sure.
But that was the sort of deciding moment where I'm
Yeah.
like, now I think we could do this. And then now I can offer not just heating controls, I can offer full electric.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, it's just a natural little step.
Yeah.
It just,
It's funny how business takes you through those routes, isn't it? You know, and
Definitely.
it just develops. So staying on staff, I suppose, how have you found hiring, you know, finding the right people? You mentioned earlier, some people haven't got the same work
Yeah.
ethics, you know, some people sort of 8 o'clock in the morning, they're wanting to stay in bed, you know, because they've been
Yeah.
at the pub the night before. Like, how have you approached that?
I'd say in the last 5 years, it's been my absolute biggest challenge.
I can imagine.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's two reasons for that, because everyone can think they can do it themselves, and a lot of them do, fine. So to take someone who's just as good at doing themselves to come and work for someone like myself, I'd be like, why would they? Unless they want super money, which then doesn't make it viable. So to try and find this perfect character overall, we've done multiple ads and, you know, recruitment companies and whatnot. If I'm honest, I take CVs with a pinch of salt. I don't
Yeah.
give a monkey's what they say.
Yeah.
I've had it time and time again with engineers where they're more qualified than me, more experienced than me. They've been there, done it, seen it. You put them on a job, and after a week or two, the cracks start showing.
Yeah.
And
The
I
attitude's
find
wrong, I suppose. Yeah.
the basics, communication,
Yeah.
telling the customer one thing, not telling us, or
Yeah.
telling the customer something they shouldn't be, or saying, yeah, I'll pop back and do that for you, Mrs. Jones, no worries. And then they call up and say, well, he said he's going to come back and do that. I'm like, I don't know what to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's just the basic stuff. Like if it's down to experience, then we can help with that. It's just a matter of time. But if the personality is not a good fit,
Yeah.
I don't waste any time anymore.
Yeah. I can imagine how difficult it is. I really can.
It's so hard. But I'd say, touch wood, the team we got now, it's the strongest team we've ever
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
Everyone's good as gold. Everyone's a team player. They know what they're doing. I try not to breathe down their necks.
Yeah.
Try and make it as enjoyable as it possibly can.
Yeah.
Um,
So moving on from that, as still on staff, sorry, but you're up to 10 staff members now.
yes.
How do you find managing a team of 10? How's that sort of changed your day-to-day work? Or has it not, because of the systems and the roles you've given everyone?
So it has, to a degree. On the electrics, Tyler, who is our sort of head electrician, between Tyler and Karis, they almost run the electric side of things. I kind of oversee it, probably more than they're aware of, and keep an eye on it. But I'm not an electrician, so I don't try to be one. So I kind of survey the work. Over time, I could potentially take that role on, but the way it works now, it works. So why change it again? So I don't really have too much input on that side. I'm still heavily on the boilers and the aircon side. It is challenging at times, and there's things that get thrown at you which are unscripted, and you know, they wasn't aware of. You know, someone's ill or someone's family member passed away, or we had one this week. Karis in the office, her daughter broke her foot, so she's at the hospital with her. Like, it's fine. You've got family comes first. Like, I'm part of a massive family. Like, work can wait.
Yeah.
Like, you know, work's not that important. It's got to try and keep it to a level.
Yeah.
But again, no one takes the piss.
Yeah.
Everyone's good as gold.
And I suppose maybe one of the things that's always put me off hiring staff is the worry that I could spend a year or two training them.
Yeah.
And then
they do one.
Then they do one and go, do you know what? They think very similar to what you and I both thought. I could earn more money doing this myself, you know. But I suppose that's why you're running a business with 10 people and I'm working by myself, really. It's quite a limiting belief, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's two things to that. I'm only 37, but at the age of like 30, 35, maybe 34, I thought I do not want to be fitting boilers till I'm 65, 70. I thought the only way out of that for me is to have a team that can allow me to not, and I can concentrate on other bits. If I loved I get the impression you love your job.
Yeah, definitely.
I can honestly say I don't love fitting boilers anymore.
Yeah.
After 15 plus years of installing
Yeah.
boilers daily, it's
Yeah.
so that's why I prefer. But I love my role.
Yeah.
So I would, if I knew everything I knew now, I would still decide to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel I'm backed in a corner. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
There's been times where
Yeah.
I have been.
Yeah.
But
And final question on staff, I promise. Do you think there's room to grow at the moment?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you, what in an ideal world, what would you like right now? If the ideal candidates could walk in to the shop tomorrow, what would you like right now that you think would take Georgios to the next step?
Relieving me from being the sort of main surveyor for all
Yeah.
the boiler work. So the lads can do it, but they're busy every day doing their
Sure.
role. So a surveyor type engineer or a head sort of engineer role, but we're still small. So on the plumbing side, there's only 4 plus me. So we're still relatively small. So there's not really a need and probably a financial to do it yet. But
Yeah.
the reason I believe we've still got growth is because we are SS. So from Shoebury to Wickford is almost the furthest. We do go slightly out of field, but so we've got a big area, big radius, or a big area we can cover.
Yeah.
It will take the infrastructure behind it to deliver it, but
Yeah.
there's definitely more room for growth.
Yeah. What about, obviously talking about engineers and sort of surveyors and more the sales side of thing, what about more like a marketing? Have you ever thought about bringing someone in full time for that? Because I know you do externally use those sort of companies.
Yeah. So the marketing thing, I'm still learning even now how the value of it and what it takes to put in to get what you get
Yeah.
back out of it.
Yeah.
So are we big enough to bring someone in house? Absolutely not.
Right.
But the person I use, she is an absolute whiz
Right.
at it, and she's same brain as me, thinking of things at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and it's like, have you thought about this? So she's on the same wavelength,
Yeah.
and we pay a monthly fee for all of her to manage everything that runs, and the improvements that she's got us from a previous company to where we're at now. It's all the right signs. So there'd be no reason to bring someone
Sure.
in other than taking a gamble again.
Yeah. It makes sense. So I suppose the next question, but how are you analysing their performance and saying that this is working better? Is there certain metrics you're looking at, or is it just sort of phone calls and you can just tell things are more busy?
No, we track everything heavily.
Yeah.
So I've been from a previous role. I sort of learnt the value of tracking.
Yeah.
Rather than just going like, yeah, I think it works, or
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, over the years, a lot of it is gut feeling. But when it comes to things like marketing and where you're spending money needing to know what return you get, if you don't track it, you ain't got a clue.
Yeah.
So we track it heavily. We have a monthly report meeting. So she will show us from rankings from the previous month to where we are now. Don't get me wrong, it's not all green.
Sure.
You know, some months we're like, right, we've got to tweak this and change that. But I'm heavily trusting in someone like, I won't say names, but the person that does it for me. Because that's her bag, that's what she does.
Yeah.
And she does it for multiple clients. So if she doesn't produce results, I'm just going to say, see you later.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's in her interest as well as mine.
Of course.
You are right. I do think this big word of marketing, it goes deep.
Oh, it's crazy,
It's
isn't
ridiculous.
it? Yeah.
And I don't know about you being a photographer, but I'm a tradesman.
Yeah.
I didn't go uni.
No.
I didn't go, college and learn everything about marketing. I just went on my own one day and just figuring it along the way.
Yeah. It's funny, my sister got her garden done this week.
Yeah.
And the guy, he's got like 500,000 followers on Instagram. All his tools are sponsored. You know,
Wow.
it's crazy. And I should imagine that's getting to the point where that's almost the business now. You know,
Definitely.
And the fitting the gardens is just the content. Do you know what I mean? So
that is the way. So I'm 6 months into like a mentoring program with a guy, and I'm one of about 20 other trades. It's all specifically for trades.
Yeah.
And 5 months out of the 12 is purely on marketing.
Yeah.
And it's all about what is the latest trend and what it is the latest. Everyone, go back 10 years, it was website, SEO, whereas now it is all about content. Now, I know you've been and done some bits for us. I find it extremely difficult.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know whether it's our generation or not, and it's the generation below that are more comfortable with it. I find it super hard.
I think you're similar to me in regards to you're very conscious about coming across arrogant and a twat.
Yeah.
Because it's the same as me. When I'm posting and I'm this and I'm that, you sort of worry like, is it coming across like you're like? There's things I could have shared on this channel about a lot of channels get a lot of views when they share information of how much they've got and what
Yeah.
they've got. But to me, I've always worried that's a little bit. So I think that's probably similar to you, maybe.
Yeah, it's like I get it, because if the whole point is to get engagement,
Yeah,
giving them what they want to hear or see, whether
it's attractive, isn't it?
it
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
whether that's relevant all the time or not, I
Yeah.
think it depends on what you're maybe trying to sell. But for marketing, for what we do, we're on the border side of it. We're a need, not a want.
yeah,
You know, if your heating goes or hot water
Yeah,
goes, you
yeah.
need someone around
Yeah.
ASAP.
yeah,
So we've got to be super reactive, but you've got to be able to find us.
yeah.
So that's the key difference there. With aircon, it's different. Aircon
Sure.
is, in my opinion,
It's a luxury,
yeah,
isn't it?
like, you know, as if
Yeah.
some people could just stick a fan on at night and be cool,
Yeah.
but some people are happy to spend a few £1,000 and get a nice aircon fitted.
Yeah.
So it does depend, I think, what you're selling and what it is people want, and whether you are a reactive based service or product or whatever, rather than just, oh, that'd be lovely.
Yeah. So with regards to your marketing, the final question on that before we move on, do you feel like there's one stream that is working best for you? One what's the word, platform?
Well, I mean, the best marketing that we've ever done and always probably will have is natural referrals.
Yeah.
That's fine if you're on your own.
Yeah.
But when you've got, you know, a team to feed,
Sure.
it's not enough. So I personally, I'm at a point now where I've tested things, I've been burnt loads, I've been con loads.
Yeah.
Whether it's agencies getting you on Google, for, you know, page one, Facebook. I personally believe you need a bit of everything,
Yeah.
because there's a different audience for a different reason, and there's a different platforms for that need or search. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I personally think everything.
Bit of everything.
Yeah.
Cool. So I thought now we'll move on to the sort of financial side of things,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
No, cool.
So first question I had was, when you first started the business and the years when maybe you were starting to hire staff, buy vans, etc., tools, was there a point where you had to think about like loans and borrow money, and how did you approach that?
So yeah, I think it's nice. It's easy to go, oh, if I get 10 grand loan, I'll go buy a nice new shiny van
Yeah.
and I'll be sorted. But so to answer your question, I've never borrowed a penny.
Really?
No. I mean, I'm never from the bank, never for the business, as like a business loaner's sense. I've always been, at the early stages, it was, I'd pay everything outright. So if my van insurance was £1,000 a year, I'd pay it out, I'd save it, and
Yeah.
I'd pay it. Now I understand cash flow in a sense, so it's not always the most viable way to do it. So to answer your question, I've never borrowed money to keep us going, or at the start of it. It was a gradual thing, and it just built up over time. And I don't want for much, you know. I don't. I'm not bothered about the flashy cars or
Yeah.
anything like that. That doesn't interest me. I drive a van everywhere.
Yeah.
That makes no odds to me.
What are you driven by then?
Do you know what? A few people ask me this. Even my dad. It's like, what's the end goal?
Yeah.
And I don't actually. To write it down, there isn't like a one liner. I can say I'm doing it to earn X amount or own this. In the early days, I wanted to be the biggest plumbing company in the world.
The same as me.
I'd have 20 vans in a row. We'd be
Yeah.
national. Yeah, slowly that, quickly, should I say, realise that.
I think that's children as well, maybe. Do you think?
What, having kids, you mean?
children, I think it changes your mindset, and life becomes about lifestyle as well as income. And
Yeah. For me now, truthfully, my goals are to eventually would be like, if it was like what is on your wish list,
yeah,
it'd be a place abroad
yeah,
they can go to and from, a few times a year, and to go on holiday as much as possible.
yeah. That's what you value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the
So
house.
you're not asking for much, really, are you? I'm not saying that sarcastically, because I'm sure there's some businesses I'll interview and they want millions and millions and millions of pounds turnover. You're not necessarily needing that. It's just, it's a lifestyle business you're after.
Over the last probably 5 years, I've realised, turnover's great.
Yeah.
If you are having a turnover contest, so who's got more turnover?
Don't mean nothing though, does it?
It's just what's left behind.
Yeah.
What's left in it for you, and does it mean? Do I work 60, 70 hours a week? Yeah, but I do choose to.
Yeah.
And I would, just because I'm like, I'm going to concentrate on that now, and it's only because I'm not forced to do that. But for me, if I can go on holiday, the end goal would be 2-3 holidays a year and a little trip here and there or something. Get the house all done, and that's pretty much it. If I'm being honest.
So, a private question, obviously as you grow bigger and bigger, you've now got a fairly substantial wage bill, I should imagine, monthly.
Yeah.
Is it just keeping a particular amount in the business and trying to always be very conscious of that? Or is it much more the flow we were talking about earlier, that you're hoping the money comes in to pay the money out?
So there are times where it's like that.
Yeah.
But being seasonal, should we say, that the whole point of aircon was to kind of bridge the gap in summer when heating
You're
dipped.
thinking exactly that, yeah.
That was the idea about
Yeah.
it. You know, I'm not an aircon guy.
Yeah.
I've done the training, but I'm not an experienced AC guy.
Yeah.
To service, I thought, well, in the summer, if heating's doing that and aircon's doing that, they're kind of on
Makes
average.
sense.
Yeah. I don't know really. There isn't. We know our overheads, we know our numbers, and there's a point where we didn't.
Yeah.
And there'll be money in the account, and everything will just be paid.
Yeah.
And it's not like I didn't have to look at it. I just like, well, no, I know
happened.
that's coming. But there was a point, and shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
It really did. And we got to the end of the month, and we owed X amount out, and I was in the account, and I was like, where's the fucking money?
Yeah.
And then actually at that point, I don't even mind sharing this. It's not a secret, but we had to liquidate.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, we scaled up about, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. We were running a contract for like a government funded scheme. I staffed up, I had full-time surveyor, I had more admin, I had subbies coming up my ear rolls. It was flying, and the contract was meant to end in June. And on the 7th of January, so coming back after Christmas break, so 6 months prior to the deadline day, I got an email saying the contract's over. I was like, hey, no, we've got another 6 months of this. And I was like, funding's gone, funding's stopped. I was like, well, how long for? I don't know. So I was like, fuck, what do I do here? I'm staffed up, I've got people relying on me, I've committed to them, I've got so much going on, shit hit the fan. And I was like, but I didn't know, truthfully, if someone said to me at that point, yeah, but you should have known, and you're right, I should know, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have the right systems in place,
Yeah.
and I wasn't having the right advice, truthfully, externally. I'm making excuses. Ultimately, it's my fault. I should have been on it. I was just riding this nutty wave of things just going crazy.
Yeah.
And I had to reset. And I had to lay some people off. It was the most horrible experience of my life.
Yeah.
It took me nearly 6 months to admit it and actually say, yes, I'll liquidate.
Yeah.
Because the accountant was like, look, you'll be working for the next however many years, paying this off, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, I fucked up.
Yeah.
But from that day, I went around someone's house who runs a business, and she's been extremely valuable and helpful to me over the years, just in how she runs her business, super successful. And
You obviously don't have to share anything private, but is it a similar sort of business or something completely different?
no, it's local. It's like an insulation business.
Okay.
But she's got a brain like I've never known. She's
Yeah.
so smart. The business is ginormous. It's super profitable. She's done extremely well for herself. And she said to me, right, forget everything you thought you did. You need to know what you got coming in, what you got going out, and what's in front of you.
Yeah.
So, we just sat down for about 2 or 3 hours in her house. She said, just do as I tell you and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
And true to it, she's been absolutely
was right.
But it's almost like I needed that little kick in the nuts, really, to go like, what are you doing? Stop
Yeah,
winging
yeah.
this. Like, you need
You've
a
got to
plan.
remember, you started it at a young age. You're not taught this sort of thing at school, are you? It's all from experience, Yeah. So this lady, I hope you don't mind me talking about it. Was she like a hired mentor, or was it just a friend?
No, she's a friend,
Oh,
and
amazing.
she was subbing a load of work to us.
Right.
So boilers in one of the government schemes was linked to insulation.
Right.
So where people were getting free insulation and free loft cavity wall insulation, they were also able to get free boilers. So the contract was nothing to do with her work stopped. Hers stopped as well at the same time. But yeah, it just caught me off guard. It made me, because I was so taken away by this opportunity, I had all my eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
So I stopped the local marketing, I stopped doing other bits, and I was like doing this sort of tunnel vision.
Sure.
And it literally like went like that.
Yeah. Scary, isn't it?
Yeah, and I remember thinking, I have fucked up massively.
Yeah.
What have I done? And so from that day, I was still always pushed for contract work, and I'm not frightened of it, but I'm like, I've got to be able to stand on my own 2 feet
Yeah.
and adapt and change quicker than they can.
So I suppose it's you'd never want that contract work to become a big egg in your basket. You want lots of little eggs in that basket.
Yeah,
Right?
but it's hard. I mean, we've just tendered for a local council.
Right.
And, it's a big contract for me, for the size we're at. It's a huge one for us. And I straight away thought, oh, God, this brings back a few memories where it's a bit like a few horrible feelings inside. I'm like, oh, but what if again?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I just won't let it.
Yeah.
My role will be keeping absolutely on top of everything from you name it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I suspect the next question is redundant now after you just sharing that. But it was, what do you think your biggest financial mistake early on was? I suppose, are you happy? Is there anything else you can particularly think of that you think I wish I'd done that differently at the start, maybe?
Yeah, it's not having the right things in place.
Yeah.
It's not having the right system or using like an
Yeah.
accounting software.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the most common ones now are Xero and Sage.
Yeah.
QuickBooks, something or whatever like that.
Yeah.
We've used Xero now.
Running like monthly reports and stuff that you can just get that information.
Having a visual, and you can see, it's all linked through your banks, all through your suppliers. So Lauren's role in the business now is purely accounts. So at any given moment, we can see what we've got in, what we're owed in, and what we owe out. And if those three numbers don't tally up, ahead of time, or they look good, we're like, okay, cool. We
work on this. Yeah. Okay. No, thank you for sharing. So the next question we've really gone over already, because I was going to talk about seasonal demand and cash flow, and the big way you've covered that is by starting to bring in the aircon side of things. Was that something? I suppose the point are you thinking the way you've brought Tyler in for the electrics, are you eventually hoping to bring someone in who's going to become aircon? Is that the end goal?
Yeah, ideally.
Yeah.
So with AC, there's quite a broad scope of work. So you've got domestic, which we're solely at the minute.
Yeah.
So it's bedrooms, loft rooms, garden rooms, offices. We do commercial as well, but there's so much room for growth that you can really run with it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not there yet. And again, I'm not an AC guy, so I can't bring someone in full time and tell them how to do things, because I'm not an AC guy.
Sure.
So I'm heavily leaning towards the guys I'm using. But again, that relationship works.
Yeah.
They give me X amount of commitment per week. I fill the days.
Yeah.
And time you multiply that a few times, and it works.
Win-win both sides, isn't it?
Yeah. It's on a domestic level, the margin's tight.
Yeah.
But again, it's bridging that gap in summer.
Yeah.
What it's done is it's made me not have to revert to doing jobs I don't really want to do again, like just to keep guys busy. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of making, because you can all fall into that trap. Being a tradesman, taking jobs on you don't really want to be doing. But you just say, because you need the work.
Yeah, of course. So the final question sort of on the financial side of things was, obviously becoming a bigger business, your margins are going to get tighter and tighter.
Yeah.
You compare yourself to a one-man band that's maybe just staying under that VAT threshold, they're earning 20% more than you straight away, aren't they? How are you finding that sort of challenge? You've got the shop to pay for, the staff to pay for, VAT, etc.
So I remember the time when the accountant's like, look, you're at the threshold, you need to get that registered. I was like, no way, I won't win any work. He said, we've got no choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I very quickly had to learn what it even means and how to change your pricing structure. So everything's X VAT, and then you have the VAT at the end. Because I thought straight away you'd be 20% dearer than whoever isn't. Well, it's not, because you quote at X VAT.
Yeah.
So I very quickly realised that I've got no choice. You become a VAT collector. You've got to hand it over at the end of a quarter or a month. We do ours monthly just for easy numbers. We probably lost, 10 jobs that we started quoting for. We'd lose not even one.
Really?
Nah, because it does change your clientele a little bit. So people, look, anyone can get anything done cheaper.
Sure.
Everyone knows a bloke down the pub who can do it cash for you on the day and blah, blah, blah. Everyone's got to learn. And if that's the customer, that's what they want, crack on.
Yeah.
They're not the ones they're not for me.
Yeah, cool.
So, there has been conversations where they have said, oh, the bloody VAT. And I'm like, look, I agree. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I really can't. There's nothing I can do. So but it does make you more of a professional outfit in a certain aspect.
Gives you some credibility, I suppose.
I think so. And if you're in the today's world, if you're not at the threshold or you're approaching it, then you're only a one-man band anyway, in my opinion.
Of course, yeah.
If you're running two vans and two guys, you can hit it anyway. Things are so dear.
Yeah, of course.
The threshold's never moved in line with
earnings.
It's just never moved. So it won't be long until everyone's on it anyway.
Yeah. I suppose from a credibility standpoint, you guys having the staff in the shop, answering the phone as soon as it rings, having the shop presence, it must massively help things, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. That little unit, we only rent it. It's cheap rent. It's really not a massive cost. Some people have said, oh, what a waste that is. I'm like, it's not, because there's a place that everyone goes. All our deliveries come there. All our rubbish is there. All our bins are there. It's like a little hub.
Sure.
And without it, it'd be like it was before. I'd have boilers in my hallway. I'd have guys turning up, dropping roll. I'd look like a scrapyard.
Yeah.
And who wants that at their house?
Yeah.
So for me,
and
it's
a bit of staff
fight.
morale as well, isn't it? When I've been in there working with you, like one of the engineers will pop in and quickly have a drink, and everyone's brought up to date of where they're at.
Definitely.
Like Kelly will talk to them and find out what's going on, and so.
Like I say, we track everything. So just on our local customers that come into the shop, it pays for itself.
Really?
Maybe not every month, but it's there. But without it, I'd be lost.
Yeah.
I could be hidden away on an industrial site
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
I'd be paying more money. I'd have no visibility.
Yeah.
It was a gamble at the time. We've been there, I think coming up 6 years or 5 years or something. And at the start, I was, oh God, it's another pressure, it's another risk.
Yeah.
Christ, I've been worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. It's good you feel so like passionately about it, and you brought it perfectly onto my next question, which was about the property. And I completely see the value in having the property, but I suppose the question would be, have you ever thought about maybe buying a property yourself?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying about grown it, but we're at a point now where we are stacked.
Yeah.
And time a few deliveries coming in, because at any given moment we could have a load of boilers ready to come in. I mean,
Sure.
things are in and then they go out almost the next day. But we could have a delivery of boilers, aircon and electrics, plus all the other associated materials that go with it. And then there's people there and it's like, okay, really we need to probably get somewhere more storage. But I don't want to make that commitment just yet until I find the right place. But finding somewhere that's got that much visibility without paying, it's going to be very hard and probably very expensive.
Yeah. It's probably important to mention, anyone that doesn't know your shop, it's on a busy through road, isn't it? In a busy town, it gets a lot of traffic past it.
It's just a through road.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's funny you say that, because even we've been there 5 years and we've, the names over the door, we've got flags outside and banners and signs, and this, to me, it's clear as day.
Yeah.
We've got customers that literally live across the road. You can see our office from their window that didn't know we were there.
Yeah, I believe it.
And it still happens. But we do pick up a lot, especially the older generation.
Yeah, I can
They
imagine.
want to come in and have a little chat.
Yeah. No, it's great. And I suppose not that we can give financial advice on this channel, but there's benefits behind buying the property through pensions, etc. So it's something that could be really exciting for you.
Definitely.
So moving on to now, you mentioned earlier, and I know we've had conversations before about it, you're starting to go into a bit more mentoring and stuff with your coaching.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do that? Was it an urge to grow bigger? Was it an urge to check you're doing it correct? So like, what do you think it was?
It's both. So I started I was part of a mentoring group about 5 or 6 years ago, but when I had to liquidate, I had to get rid of every expense that wasn't an absolute necessity, that being included. That was group mentoring, and I was traveling up to Birmingham for that once every 4 to 6 weeks. This one, it's all online. And it's with a guy called Craig, he's up north, and he's been there, seen it, done it, and he's very creditable, multi-millionaire. But he's real. He's not a sales guy. So the idea of going into this group was because, yes, things are moving along nicely, but I'm always thinking, like, well, are they?
Yeah.
Like, am I doing it right? Yeah. Or what else do I need to be doing?
Yeah.
And you're constantly, because there's no rule book for this. I don't know whether it's the same in all business, but for trades, like, you have to, like, it's a famous thing that, you've got to wear so many hats. It's like all the marketing, it's all about you doing this right, you're doing that right. And so being part of a group like this, it just gives you that reassurance, and you're bouncing. So there's no conflict. So there's another 5, 6 other heating companies in there, but it's all across the country.
Yeah.
Great lads, all on the same journey. Some are massive companies, some are tiny one-man bands. Some have been big and they've regrouped and they're now starting again. So it's going through all the stages of a business and making sure it's current.
Yeah.
Rather than it being sort of like from a generic coach about business in general. This is trade specific.
And putting you on the spot, can you name sort of 2 or 3 things that you feel, well, are you happy to name, I suppose, 2 or 3 things you really feel like you've got from the mentoring recently, or things that you want to bring into Georgios?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're 6 months in, and every month's a new sort of chapter or new sort of topic.
Yeah.
At the minute, we're in month 4 of marketing. So we've just done all our website and SEO about what we should have, because I didn't have a clue before.
Sure.
Online, sort of social side of it, your personal branding, your even down to time management, and how to understand if you want to call it the business owner or the guy in charge or whatever, it's knowing where to spend your time and actually checking where you're spending your time, because I think we can all get lost pretty easy.
Yeah, definitely.
And focus on something that's almost, that can be, it can wait a bit. So I'm still in the early stages of it, but it is incredibly valuable. I'm yet to implement everything I've been taught over the last 5 months. It's not an overnight thing. It's a 12-month course. So this is probably going to take 2 years maybe to keep things, to see some results of it coming back in. But it's extremely, I would say to anyone, yes, it's a cost. And you kind of think, what are we going to get out of it? But from my own experience, being into part of 2 mentoring groups, it's being with surrounded people like that. It helps massively.
Bouncing ideas between each other. It's when I speak to the successful photographers, the ones that are making proper money from it, it's always the number one bit of advice is get a mentor.
Oh, really?
Someone that's been there, someone that's done it, and someone that can look at it from an outsider's point of view. So,
well, it says winging it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I think this is the right thing to do, but it could stop you doing something that's going to save you 3-4 months and tons of money to waste of energy.
Yeah. So, going a bit more. We're going to look behind first of all. I don't know if that's the correct expression, but look back. What advice would you give your younger self now? What do you think you'd say to your 21-year-old self?
What would I say? I would say, would I change things? I mean, yeah, there's things I wish I didn't do, but then I wouldn't know what it's like to be on the other end of it. Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot of valuable lessons you've learned, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think I'd say take it with a pinch of salt, especially when people or builders or other trades are dangling the carrot about future works.
Yeah.
Now, I look after us in this with Malcolm, this coming up. Unless I'm there with a toolbox or lads are on site, it's like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Working with friends and family, should you be doing it? You're gonna. Are they the most profitable jobs? Absolutely not. Are they the ones that go wrong? Yeah. And so there's not much I would change, truthfully, other than maybe look at maybe having a bit of a mentor maybe sooner.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've taken enough risk. I don't know, really. I mean, I was going to buy a franchise at one point.
Really?
Yeah, and that was for a big national. That was probably 7-8 years ago. I was well green then. And I had all the bank loan lined up. Talking about loans earlier, I needed like 3 to 5 vans on the road almost immediately.
Blimey.
So I was looking at offices, looking at everything. I went to Birmingham to be interviewed by all the panel, all the directors, and it was quite serious. And I was basically, they said, I had to buy into it. And I wanted a clause put in the contract, and they said no. And I just looked at the guy, I was like, why? Because if you're telling me this is going to be good from your end, like if it isn't, then I need something to protect me.
Sure.
He just looked at me and shook his head. Some German thing. He was like, no. I said, well, based on that, I don't think we can work with each other.
Yeah. Good for you.
And I would have been, I think, another franchisee, something like 13 or 15 in the country. And then, not that I'm happy about it, it just happens to have worked out this way. But after about 6 months later, they changed the complete business model and they sacked every franchisee.
Really?
Yeah, so I would have been tapped up for vans, finance, office. I would have.
Yeah, with a loan out your ears. Yeah.
So sticking to your guns is one thing.
Yeah.
Not being a pushover, I'd say. I mean, I've not really ever been that, but not letting people dictate who you should and what you should. I've always sort of, if I didn't feel comfortable, I've just said, oh, thank you anyway, but no, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's hard looking back. There isn't anything specific.
Let's spin it on its head and look ahead then.
Yeah.
So last few questions, I promise, is where do you see we've spoken about what you want personally, but where would you like Georgios to be? Let's say 5 years, 10 years.
So growth is always my absolute drive. We've sort of been growing fairly well for the last 5-6 years. Well, since we reset, every year on year we've been growing nicely. Essex as a whole, Essex is a big place, right?
Yeah.
And we cover SS, which is a tiny pocket. So we need to broaden out. So doubling the size is probably something that I wouldn't shake my head at. If someone said, would you or would you want to or would you try to? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
If it makes sense along the way, I wouldn't just jump into it just so I've got twice the fans. For me, having what it looks like on the outside, even the office, people say, oh, you're doing all right now. I'm like, mate, it's a tiny little office. So it's cheaper rent than what you're paying your mortgage.
Yeah.
So it's not about, for me, what it looks like on the outside. It really ain't. It's, if things keep going the way they are, we can just keep making improvements, keep growing nicely, build up like aircon and electrics is probably, well, I can tell you exactly, it's 35% of the revenue in now.
Yeah. Do you mind me asking what the split between those two are?
Electrics is 25%.
25.
Yeah. So aircon, we've only just scratched the surface with. So there's so much room for growth.
Massive. It could be massive.
Same with electrics. You've got, at the minute, we're solely domestic. So we're everything from rewires to maintaining, your kitchen refurbs or your smart control, something like that. But you've got solar, you've got battery, EV charger really do. So again, there's room for growth there.
Yeah.
So there's still tons of room to do it. It's not about being the biggest anymore. It really isn't. I mean, if I could do that and still earn and have a life, that a role to play every day that I enjoy, then for me, I've made it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's definitely room for growth.
Yeah. So final question. When do you feel like you've completed it?
What, as in like job done?
Job done.
I,
Is it a sale? Is it selling Georgios for a lump and living happily ever after? Is it a
but what is
particular
that, though?
revenue?
I mean, I talk about. I think we've all done this on site and in between. If you won the lottery, what would you do?
Yeah.
Sitting on my arse doing. I couldn't have anything worse.
Yeah.
And there's only so much golf you can go and play.
Yeah.
Not that I can play anyway. I'm crap. But do you know what I mean? Like, I'm nowhere near ready. My brain
Yeah.
does not stop.
So it's a long way away at the moment.
I think I always wanted it to be. So I'll tell you quickly, right? So I had an older guy do some work for me for a few months. His name, I won't say his name, but he was like 63 at the time. Great guy, lovely, polite, little engine. And I fed him work for sort of 2 or 3 months consistently where I could. And he went, "Oh, Greg, I need some more work." So I haven't got anything for you. Need to say his name then. I haven't got anything for you. Because we've got these other projects on which I couldn't really put him on. And he went, "Oh, I'm going to pay the mortgage." And I was like, "Oh, Christ, I didn't know you just relying on me." He said, "You're only kind of part-time." I said, "I thought you were." No, I've been waiting. I was like, "Oh, for God's sake." I was like, so I was like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be a guy at that age relying on someone else to pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about being in control, I suppose, and having no one to tell me or to say yes or no, you're going to pay your mortgage that month. But where's the mate? Couldn't answer that right now.
Really?
There isn't. It's not like a figure thing for me. It's not like I
yeah.
need loads of money in the bank or anything like that. We're still got tons of learning to do, loads of improvements to make, and there's loads of room for us to grow yet.
So I suppose as part two to that question, and maybe you wouldn't be happy sharing this, but if someone come along and offered a price for the business, would there be a point where you consider?
Yeah, I think there's but everything's got a value, isn't it? Of course,
sure.
but it would have to make it so I could do something else comfortably. Not start
Go and
up
sit
again.
on the beach.
Yeah, I couldn't have anything worse. But I mean, I would even entertain it now because everyone that works for me, Christ, I'd feel horrendous. For them. I know if I was to sell it, they'd stay on with the business. How long for? I don't know. But no, we ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. I've learned so much from you. I've known you almost 2 years now, and I didn't know half of it. So yeah, thank you for your time.
No, you're well. Thanks for having me.
No, pleasure. So as I just mentioned to Greg, I learned a lot today from him. It's challenging running a business in 2026, as at the time of recording this video. I'm sure a lot of you have connected to it if you have your own businesses or are thinking of starting them. So yeah, if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them below. If you'd like to subscribe and watch more of this sort of content, hit the button and hopefully see you soon.